Hello, everyone. Sorry for the angle again, folks. YouTube, TikTok will not let me stream through the wide angle of my camera. However, if you do not want to turn your device sideways, head over to Twitch or YouTube, as we have multiple cameras. I have a microphone now. It's all set up, and we have a battle cam. So if we fight stuff tonight, we can bring out the battle cam. If is good.
War, so.
What? Okay. And with that, welcome all of you joining us via TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch to another session of the Legends of Faeterra, Adventures of the Natural Ones. We are missing our bard, our warlock for the evening. I believe he may be. Nope. Hopefully he'll be here pretty soon. We haven't heard that he's not coming. So, with that, before we jump in, a few quick announcements.
And we're also missing our halfling ranger fighter. But
He's going to know where he is.
He's in our hearts.
He's currently in the Feywilds, riding the Jabberwock into battle against the Arch Feylords.
As he should.
No, that's not what he's doing with the Jabberwock. So, yeah, you also notice that our dear friend Seth, a.k.a. Kieran Steadybrook, is not here. He is currently rehearsing for a production of Beauty and the Beast, which I will be going to see because it opens on my birthday. I'm going to take it for the day after that. I've got an entire week off. I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice. Yes, this is actually his second time being in a production of Beauty and the Beast. First time was with me.
Because he played Cogsworth in the first one, right?
Yep.
Which...
And he's playing my role in this time. Monsieur Dark, the asylum owner.
I'll be honest, I thought that the USM stuff was only like for USM students. I didn't know that other people. So now I may actually start, on dates, may go try to
bloody do it.
Audition and things like that. Because I have not been doing audition in a very long. Anyway, so with
what time?
That's fair. Folks, I have a Patreon if you like to know.
That's the only reason I didn't audition for the Wizard of Oz that is happening over in the Brookhaven Little Theater.
So I am, we'll get to introductions in a moment. First, a few quick announcements for the evening. First of all, for those of you who are watching on TikTok, if you head over to Twitch and YouTube, we have better angles. It's a little bit wonky. I've got some more stuff to fix that coming. It'll be much better next week. But it's a more direct angle. We have a battle camera for when we start doing miniature combat. We have some microphones, maybe a little bit easier to hear us. So, but yeah, just head over there. It's a lot better. Plus, all these subscriptions to Twitch and YouTube help out a lot because the more people watch, the more that I can eventually do this for a living, and that would be great. Though I love my job. But yeah, so there's that. Second of all, as always, want to say thank you to the Hive here in Macomb, Mississippi, because folks, we're coming to you live from the Hive, as I say. The amazing rentable roleplay room you see around us, capable of things through the Hive, the local game store here. There's another rentable roleplay room. You have miniatures. The store provides with a dungeon master if you want to sign up for the games. If not, there's tons of table space. Table space is free. They do Pokemon. Well, they do Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Magic the Gathering, D&D, and they're trying to get into Pokemon, I believe. So yeah, great things happening here at the Hive Macomb. Also, they have amazing merchandise. It is a mimic. Wonderful cups and mugs, dice trays, dice roll, all kinds of stuff. So as always, thank you to the folks here at the Hive. I love you guys so very, very much. Speaking about people that I love, Jeff.
Who, what?
I believe you had a Mass Effect stream the other night, did you not?
I did. And I'm going to continue the Mass Effect stream, basically doing my, what I call my cinematic playthrough of it, which is what I see my personal story with Mass Effect being.
One second. Somebody check. Okay, so yeah, okay. Said screen went black for a second. That's weird. All right.
That was weird. Oh, I stream usually Tuesday nights at around 8, but that's going to change because I have a game to play. Run by Night Raid. Played by Night Raid. Do you know about that?
I do know about that.
Yes.
Looking forward to that. I may or may not have already created a book of nothing but 5e dinosaurs and their stats, and I tried to draw a Procopsignathus. It looked like a hairless chicken with one little short leg.
That's
That's kind of what a copy looks like.
One short leg, not two. One short leg.
Oh.
He runs in a circle.
He's special.
But yeah, so thank you as always. By the way, when is the Lord of the Rings review?
I have no idea.
Good to know.
It's a work in progress.
It is a work in progress. I have no idea when we're going to do it. Honestly, I think things just kind of got in the way and we ended up not doing the recording of it. For all I know, it's probably going to happen after Seth's doing of Beauty and the Beast.
Fair enough.
Who knows?
But yeah, looking forward to that. We didn't have a chance today. There was some stuff that happened to do a new episode of Play with Advantage. However, we always have one in kind of saved aside just in case. So this past week's episode was backstories, character origin stories, and that kind of stuff. We gave some tips. The next one coming up is the pillars of a tabletop role-playing game: role play or social interaction, combat, and exploration. Which ones do you lean into? Which ones do you shy away from? And how to basically use the three of them to build to use the pillars mechanic, a sturdy, good game. Also, a shout out to Skagande, Scars of Midgard, the amazing live play that happens here right before we go live. Run by the amazing DM, Elder Fenris, aka Brody, my fellow co-host on Play with Advantage. It's weird having two cameras across the room that are going back and forth and back and forth.
Bye, Brody.
But yeah, it's a Nordic Eldritch. The best way to describe it is Vikings meet Cthulhu. It is a Nordic Eldritch horror themed campaign. It is amazing. Their tech person is actually sitting here with us, and they're great. Even if they have to randomly throw cameras back and forth. You did a great job. So as always, thank you guys for. I know y'all shouted out to us today. Thank y'all for the recognition. I'm gladly returning the favor. Also, I'm now going to be doing a live. I'm going to try to do a live painting stream every Thursday.
Okay.
This past one, I got about halfway through this massive T-Rex miniature. I got the base coats down. I just got to do some detail work on it. It's going to look really, really cool. And I just picked up an airbrush kit today, so that's going to be fun.
And as with some of your older paintings, how are we looking on the storybook going?
I'm currently writing
You're
the next
working on it?
chapter.
Okay.
I had to go find the old GM, get his story notes so I can do the Western Advantage. But also talking about Sagandian stories, the Sagande side stories they do, a little I'm working with them. We're trying to put some of those to audio, how it has an audio drama.
Awesome.
Yes, Night Rain. Thank you so much. Post everything. Have I
Post
forgotten
all the
anything?
things.
Fleet Street, Skande,
What did you read?
the Hive.
What did you read?
I think we're good.
So with that then, I think we'll do a quick round of introductions and jump right into the game. If you folks have any questions, be it on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok, if you'll hold it about 8 o'clock or so, we'll take a break to stretch our legs, use the bathroom, use the restroom, that kind of stuff. And we'll love to answer your questions then. I know a couple of my mods are floating around in the various streams, and they can answer questions as best they can. So with that, I will close out of the TikTok, which means I can now bring the volume back up. Come on. There we go. So with that, we will start on the left over here.
Hello, my name is Derek. I play our drow cleric, Sondra Nalo.
I am Ricky. I play Finnegan Tenderfoot, the halfling wizard rogue.
I'm Ben. I play Wakara Karajan, the gem dragonborn, divine soul sorcerer.
I'm Jeff, and I play Grimwald Griselbrand, the half-orc barbarian.
I'm Beck, and I play Fenrir Neferin, the half-elf Drake Warden Ranger.
And I am Kenneth Moffat, aka the Southern GM, and I am game master, storyteller, and weaver of lore and fantasy within the world of Faeterra, where the story takes place. So, when last we left our heroes, Grim was face down, butt up.
Yep.
After teleporting.
Not
From-
the usual what happens.
after teleporting. But which, by the way, was a weird. You were very weird last week, man. It was like the last time we played. It was like whole different person.
I don't know, man. Shit happens when you get teleported.
The natural ones teleported from Port Blaven to a place in the Isle of Krilat, which Rakar was later to deduce that they were in the Nerathines, that large, almost near Arctic mountain range at the very top of Krilat. While there, some off-scene stuff done in the Fireside Discord, some information was gathered. And as the natural ones were beginning to leave, a strange effect occurred in which the ley lines themselves seemed to disappear, almost as something had grabbed and pulled them into a singular spot. Most of the magic casters were okay. Unfortunately, Kieran, the connection to his magic, severed in such a way that caused him to go unconscious, almost comatose. Through a mishap with the wild magic fields currently because of the ley lines. Though the best of intentions, our dear wizard accidentally teleported Kieran somewhere. With high enough roll, you detected a little bit of Fey energy. So you believe that your friend is somewhere within the Fey realm. A different dimension entirely. But he was alive. He opened his eyes and was alive and breathing, and then was gone.
Witness protection.
After that, the
I
party
witnessed it. Got no protection right now.
After that, the party pushed down through the mountains, were ambushed by several large frost salamander-like creatures. After discussing with an adult amethyst dragon, who informed them that something had moved back into her territory, something that she was trying to find and deal with, though she doesn't want to come across it. During the battle with the two salamanders, you indeed encountered what had entered into her territory, a adult white dragon. After a rather harrowing fight in which two people attempted to ride the dragon, the one succeeded relatively okay. But did you land on it, or?
No! Unless you consider landing in its mouth a success.
I mean, you landed on in. It's a preposition.
It's
a purpose.
It's a preposition. Unfortunately, Montel missing and falling off the side of the mountain, able to save himself via his warlock magic. The party then moved down through the mountain range. Thankfully, nothing else seemed to accost or happen to them. They reached the bottom and approached the Orcrag crater, this ancient, massive crater in the northernmost part of Krilat, and a few miles past it, the Fort Korvst, this large, fortified, city-like complex. The perception rolls were made, and the strange thing that the party noticed is that this is Dragonborn. This is Dragonborn homeland, but all of the places guarding the Orcrag are being manned by orcs. Did I tell you which tribe? Did you roll? Okay, so you don't know how to. With that, the party skirted around the outside, evading detection, moving to the fort where they saw a large warband accosting the fort. You called in the Amethyst Dragon to actually fly you to this area. The orcs moving in such a tactical formation that normally is not seen with raiding parties. You notice that there were several of these strange black dragonborn-like creatures with pale purple and pink mystical vapors coming off of them. Essentially, I don't even know what to call the masterful stroke that you
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Essentially,
Basically what we did.
Basically, it was shock, awe, and explosions is what happened.
What we do best.
You dealt with these shadow dragonborn, in which once their tactical minds were no longer linked, the orcs returning for a moment to a state of confusion. The gates to the fort open, and the trained armies, the trained soldiers of the guards here rushed forward and were able to easily deal away with the remaining orcs. And I believe we left off right after all of this had happened. And And so we will pick up literally in a battlefield. All around you are the dead bodies of the orcs of various clans. Those who best ones stand near this strange shadowborn, the strange dragonborn creature. What are y'all doing at this point?
Feeling like myself again.
Ricard was still in the air, I think.
I did forget about
He
that.
was in the air.
I was in the air.
They were in the air.
They were in the air. Also, was it this point, or when you were fighting the was it when you fought the salamanders? You remembered that as a Drake Ward, you have a breath weapon.
That has been used.
Finn knew the entire time. Beck, however, was like, I have this.
I will. I'm sorry.
A few of you in the air. Oh, so yeah, what's happening?
Ricard will call out using thaumaturgy, call out Finn's name to come to him, and then follow him down to the Dragonborn.
Okay.
And then using the ring, I will ask Grim to just kind of surround him with the other party members so he's not mistaken for anything else.
Okay.
I think you may be on Reginald.
I got you, Grim. We got this.
Finn
Because
was
we
really
the only
directed
two
to
together
follow.
right now.
Here's the thing. While he is half orc, there is a very clear difference in stature and movement. Like most orcs are more almost
Tolkien.
they're more hulkier, almost like a gorilla-like aspect where they kind of walk, arms out. Even those who are the more civilized, like your father and those in the capital city, there is still an almost primal, animalistic look to them. That I've never actually asked this question. Is your mother human?
Yes.
Okay, so the human aspect does kind of taper down in you a little bit. Like you still have the broadness, but there's less of the bowing up kind of. But you're more of a human appearance.
Yeah.
I just don't want any like in the thick and the blood and any.
That's fair.
confusion.
That's
In the
fair.
thick of it.
Yes.
Because I mean, at this point, like even because there are a lot of cadets. This is also where the cadets train. So there's a chance they go orc, and that's a whole big thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not quite.
So
My dad's one.
so while this is happening, Swordred, where are you and what are you currently doing?
Trying to figure out why
Wondering
there's an alarm going off.
why Reginald is
Beeping.
beeping.
Ren is trying to talk to you.
That's fine.
Right now, we've seen that the orcs were,
Essentially routed.
yeah, but also that they were controlled. So, in a way, I'm trying to figure out what's just the closest group of orcs.
Roll me a perception check.
30. 30.
Up and down.
Hey, this one for the board.
There's one for Exotic Bird Bingo.
We actually I need to make that posted so people can play it. So what was the total?
30.
30. Okay. You do see that while most of these orcs are very much fight to the finish kind of thing, that eventually some of this being overcome. There are several orcs that have been bound and tied as prisoners, kind of off to an area being guarded.
See, that was my worry. I didn't want them to all be slaughtered. I wanted to
Yeah.
maybe talk to a few. So
Those
they're taking care
are
of
the
that.
ones that grab you. There are dozens, if not hundreds, across this battlefield that are dead.
Is there any causing major problems, or they seem to be mostly just like contained?
On a dirty 30, you do notice that there's one that looks like that there are a few cadets trying to deal with this orc. It would make Grim look puny. This thing is a good 8-9 feet, and it has a familiar weapon, but as opposed to the clean cut and shapen weapon master's weapon that Grim carries, this is just like a massive piece of right. It's just thankfully the Dragonborn cadets are agile enough to move out of the way and not get hit. But this thing is just essentially just swinging through, like just trying basically to deal as much. Like it's causing them some issues.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to do quick math in my head.
Okay. while he's mathing, Finnegan, what are you doing?
Riding.
Just like riding Reginald through the.
No, I'm on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were okay. Yeah. Like you were part of the distraction team.
Yeah. I was the boo.
All right, what'd you get, Sorkin?
Do these Dragonborn seem to be speaking common or just Draconic?
The Dragonborn are speaking
Or the-
Draconic to each other. Yeah.
Have we learned the word for back up?
I mean,
I mean, you've hung armor with Carl long enough, maybe.
the word, I guess, stop or retreat, you would recognize.
Because I want to tell him to get away from him. I don't know how best to do it because I don't speak Draconic because we haven't fully learned the lessons.
Neither do I. I mean, I've been learning Elvish.
I thought you said they had learned
Like,
conversational.
you're
maybe?
conversational in it. Like, hi, where's the bathroom? It's a nice day. You cannot discuss trigonometry and philosophy with them.
So I might be able to yell at a group that's in front of this thing to back up.
Yeah.
then. So I'll let it go up to it, and I'm going to yell at them to back up, and hopefully get about 20 feet on either side of it.
Roll me a persuasion with advantage. Also, do you have the list of the NPCs? I cannot find the copy that I have myself.
Okay, I don't like how this bodes for
That
tonight.
exact one.
First roll was a 17. The two rolls right now are an 18 and a 19, which you said persuasion.
Yes.
That's 23.
Ooh. Just want to make sure there was a name I was trying to make sure if I give it to. Okay. 23. When you, it looks like a few of them may understand your intentions, they kind of back up. The weapons they have, by the way, are these long lance-like poles, halberd-like poles, but instead of the axe or the pike, it's actually this pair of wicked curved, almost like claws. That looks like the design is to go up and then pull back, almost latching down on this
So
thing.
kind of a hooked bident.
Essentially, yeah. So the idea is that this thing would go up, these would hook in, and you just go down and pull back. And pulling whatever it is, it's just, yeah.
Because what I'm trying to do is see if I can knock him out.
I'm sorry, it'd be in, because it would be in, down, and pull. Yeah.
But I need all of them out of range to do it
I
properly.
mean, they'll back up as far as you need them to.
I need them 20 feet away from him on all sides.
Okay, you kind of move, they do kind of, yeah.
So I can cast sleep on him at 5th level.
All right. Make your roll. Well, I need to make a roll here. Oh, he hurting.
Go to sleep, little baby.
Alright, come on. Why didn't I roll my dice? 'Trying to get it to do the roll of the dice for it because that's.
The unfortunate thing is knowing this
Second,
is
I gotta do
an
the numbers.
orc,
That'd be nice.
HP is going to be pretty up there.
5 plus
Depending on
8
what
is
level.
13. $57.
53 left. Boom! He falls. I essentially took half his hit dice, rolled those, and added his con to it. Yeah.
And so now that he's down, I'm just going tie him up, get
Like
the
you
weapon
see
away, go.
They start rushing in. One dragonborn kind of small guy tries to pick up the weapon, just starts dragging it off. It's like a massive thing of metal.
I'm gonna go help him pick it up.
Just walk over, grab, and just walk off with that. So, with that, as the remnants are either routed or being collected, you see injured and dead being policed off the field. There are several who are just being start digging these massive pits where they're going to just burn the orc bodies. However, the shadowy dragonborn, those bodies are being collected and being brought into the fort itself. Where would y'all like to go?
Rakara with Fenrir and the gold dragon, which is the focal point.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's some attention on it, maybe.
I mean, yeah, but now they see it's not nearly as big as an ancient dragon should be.
I want to head down to wherever the officers are. Breathing heavy, breathing deep, trying to calm his nerves.
And for the moment right now, I'm walking the burn pit because
Breathe deep,
evil or not,
peace.
I watched that again this week.
everyone
You did?
deserves
Good
a
miniseries.
moment.
Okay. All right.
On our way down,
Teletopia.
Fenrir will message specifically to you that whatever it is that you need, he'll back your play.
Good. I hate this sometimes.
He will message back if something happens to me. Save my father.
No questions.
All right. So with that, I mean, people are watching you as you descend on a gold drake or
They're
dragon.
gold.
Yeah. As you all begin to land, begin to kind of gather back up. Everyone, roll me a perception check if this will work.
So everyone outside roll perception.
Yes.
Ooh,
That's
hey. My first roll back and it ain't that great.
It's all right. You got to work with us now. 28.
15.
14.
10!
23.
Okay. DC was 15.
More
No.
than usual.
Okay.
What do your half-orc eyes see? Snow. Snow.
All right. Those, I was trying to get it to pull up on Discord on my laptop so I could surprise you with this, Rakara. What is your cousin's name again?
Torin.
Huh?
Torin.
Spell that?
Torin.
Thank you.
Nothing else I could put on.
Because I literally have Rakara's cousin. I was going to get the name and just forgot. Okay. You see, so those of you who beat DC 15, moving out of the fort is this kind of pale bluish dragonborn. Because he's a sapphire and what was the
Sapphire and
it was just
the opposite, sapphire and green.
sapphire and green. Okay, sorry. It's almost like this turquoise color. This dragonborn moving with purpose, surrounded by a small entourage. But as he approaches, he takes his helmet off, and Rakara, you recognize your cousin, Torin.
And he stops breathing.
The mark of sub-commander, meaning he is the second highest ranking officer at this fort on his armor. The question is, does he see you? Okay.
We ain't found shit.
So, with that, he and his entourage approach Fenrir as the large gold dragon lands. He walks up to you and just is kind of, for a moment, there's a look of like almost awe until he realizes exactly, he's starting to put together what happened. And so he's just, who, this is a dragonborn moment, forgive me. Who are you?
Fenrir looks nervously over at Rakara. Fenrir Neferin from Ilfalas.
I am Sub-Commander Torin. I am second in command of Fort Korvst. Is this orc with you?
Yes.
Very well. Let me ask you a question, Riccara. When he was approaching, how close were you to this group? Like where?
I would have been beside.
We came, like, I
Okay.
escorted him
And
down.
when you saw him approaching and saw who it was, what did you stand where you are? Did you do anything or?
He would have stood where it because
Okay.
he made his mind up. This is his homecoming.
I dismount
Alright.
to stand shoulder to shoulder.
Okay, you see him just kind of slowly, this moment, eyes for a moment, he passes over to the other two. And you are?
Finnegan Tenderfoot.
Sandra, here to deal with the dead.
Do you know that you travel in the company of a traitor?
I mean, I wouldn't call him that.
I've
He did
done
send
no
one
such
of our,
thing, sir. Immediately, both of us.
He did send one of our friends off somewhere, but I wouldn't call him a traitor.
Keep that for Enda.
I do not speak of your halfling friend, as he slowly finally turns to Riccara. Desertion of the army of Krilat is punishable by life imprisonment of hard labor, or death before the face of the enemy.
Desertion of what?
I was gonna say, is the country even technically in charge right now? From the sounds of it, civil unrest and war have sent your government. Actually, from the sounds of it, your government is sitting on the ground right now.
What do you mean?
Oh, you don't know. You
I'll-
still got the stone?
I'll pull off the worst stones.
Those stopped working, so your whole council is currently sitting on the ground.
Cousin, the worst stones are dead.
Well,
And I'll just drop
we
them all.
have had no conversation with the capital for several days since the orc incursion.
You don't know of the Draconians.
The Draconians.
Minor illusion, go through all of them.
We received word that an emissary from a foreign power was, but we did not know who.
Draconians, go back.
Knowledge is not something we are readily available here on the frontier. We spend our time dealing with more, you see kind of glance toward Grim, pressing concerns. You need to speak with the fort commander. Follow me as he kind of turns quickly and just begins moving back toward open gates.
I'll pick up the worst stones and follow. Not even looking at companions, but follow him.
What are we supposed to do?
You follow him and keep me updated. I'm gonna deal with the pit real quick first.
Sure.
You do see several members of the different orders of Bahamut moving out, starting to roll me a perception check.
23.
23. A few of them do also bear the mark of the Ashen Wake. Bahamut's order would kind of, the god of order and justice would fall in line with the ideals of Mormon-Kar. So
And I see, but I'm making sure that, I'm pretty sure the Bahamut are taking care of the Dragonborn. I'm going to deal with the
just being
because
tossed in the pit.
everyone
Gotcha.
deserves it.
Fair enough. Okay.
And I know they're not going to do that, so.
So, with that, as you head toward the pit, the four of you and your companions, Reginald, Sev, and Ren, follow Torin back toward Fort Korvst. As you step into the large double gates, it's mass chaos. You can still see damage caused by the catapults and trebuchets. You see bodies that are being carted out. You see wounded being attended to. People running around shouting orders, others shouting more orders. It is mass chaos right now, as they're trying just to get a sense of what happened. It looks like while the lines of command are still intact, there is some movement and trying to figure out who's where. But as soon as Torin makes an appearance, they snap to attention. He does bark a few orders here and there. But right now he is more pressed of getting the four of you here to the fort commander. Roll me just an intelligence roll with your proficiency bonus, Shakar.
That's another, no. That's a 13.
13.
Intelligence?
Intelligence. You remember the name of the fort commander. Commander Sezek, Seyzek. You don't remember much about. You know that the original commander retired. Sezek was promoted. Aside from that, you're not familiar with them, as they were promoted after you left.
Rakar is still single vision focused on Foreign because it's like seeing the dead at this moment.
As you're walking, I say a fort. This is a small city. Like you're moving through alleyways, moving through roads. It's all massively fortified. You can see like every juncture there are several cross traits that are being designed to basically close to where you can like funnel various places through. This is a true military citadel. As you're walking, Torin, you feel a prick in your mind as Torin just kind of, you were dead, cousin. I attended your memorial. I stood as the flames were burned in honor of you.
I was dead. Maybe. I don't know.
Why did you not return?
Shame.
Okay, he continues walking on. So, you are led into one of the multiple doors leading into this massive, the center act stone citadel of the fort. You are led not upwards but down, heading to the shrine to Korvst Krilat, as he is entombed here, as this was where the uprising began. It is a kind of a tradition that the commander have their office, that their dwellings be near the shrine to honor the memory of the first Dragonborn in the Revolution. And as you are led to a door, Torin just kind of stands there as like multiple other Dragonborn rushing by, pages, cadets. You see various insignia officers, enlisted men, and he just kind of looks at you and just reaches out. The voice you all hear answers back in the harsh language of Draconic. You hear a feminine twinge to it, feminine tone to the voice. Rakar, as do you. I keep forgetting you speak Draconic. Yes, Sub-Commander Torin, I have brought the party who has helped us rout the orcs, Commander. Bring them in, Sub-Commander, as the door opens. Even though you are deep underground, there is a fireplace here, a warm fire currently. Various pictures and paintings. There are bookshelves. You see a large table in front of you showing in the center a carved stone figure of the Fort Korvst. You see a small area of the Orcrag Canyon. It's a map of the local few, maybe 50 miles circumference, even a part of where the straits are leading into Stornakor. And leaning over it is a Dragonborn, a white Dragonborn. She looks to be approximately looks to be like her latter 40s, early 50s. So while not young, she's still well in her prime. I need, because you as well, Fenriel and Rakara to roll me perception checks.
They're with us too, so
I know.
just okay.
Fenriel and Rakara, roll me perception checks.
Let the dragon people notice that.
17,
17,
Sev is currently under strict instruction to keep an eye out for threats to both of these two,
Gotcha.
but to be on best behavior.
15.
15. As the rest of you approach, I need you three to make the perception check with. Actually, no, this one won't be with disadvantage. So you three, not me. This was to see if they would spot it first. You three make a perception check now.
He's not there.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Oh,
You two.
it's
You
that.
two. I forgot. You two make a
no worries.
perception check.
Perception.
Of course.
Nat 20.
Nat 20 on both die.
Oh wow!
Is this advantage?
Disadvantage.
Oh.
No, it's not disadvantage.
I thought it was disadvantage.
It was going to be. I realized what the check was for.
It doesn't matter.
Well-
He knows what alabaster is. That's a callback.
Yeah.
Wait.
What'd you roll, sir?
10.
10. Grim. As this white dragonborn.
Precious, I love you.
Oh, you just had to work the dust off.
It's been a while. Information for her.
It's been a while.
All these folks trying to.
Quick, before we get to monetize.
Here.
First sounding too much like the song.
Actually,
Oh no.
I looked at that. There is a very specific legal definition of the term song.
Has that music?
No. You can sample a song. That's perfectly legal. Musicians do it all the time. There's a length to it before it becomes an actual song, not a sample. So,
Say bars.
Grim,
Me.
as this dragonborn looks up to greet all of you, well, it's not just to look at you. You have seen those eyes before. You've seen them a lot. Except they're about this tall and carry a large stuffed dragon or wyvern around your house with her all the time.
Oh. Boy.
Those are Gola's eyes. She steps up, looks at all of you, and then in common goes, "Would you kindly explain to me what in the nine hells you are doing? I received word that the Golden One had been seen and was reaping vengeance, and then what happened?"
He said, "Go."
Sam's like,
If you will allow us a few minutes, this will take a while to explain. And Bakar will start going over the draconian attack in Port Blaven,
Okay.
and then how they were the big boom,
Yeah.
and the Weirstones, the Mithril.
Even though her eyes go wide, you mentioned various things like the Weirstone failing the Draconians. You can tell she has questions, but she's waiting for you to fully finish her story.
And then I'll jump to the transport. What's the word? Transport.
Teleportation?
Teleportation to Krilat. How everything was shut down, but through some kind of magic they got there, and then the White Dragon, and heavily dropped Ramtis. The name dropped the telecoms.
Probably
Yeah,
mentioned
just grab it.
Overwatch too, because that's kind of where we started encountering the stolen airships and all that stuff.
Not airships, actually, but they
Or,
were
well,
elven vessels. yeah.
elven ships.
That is right. Wow.
Mhm.
My goodness.
That would be a good idea.
I'm starting with the draconian stuff,
Yeah.
and then
Over.
I'll get to that in a minute. And then how we landed here, and then the big boom.
When you mentioned the failure of the Weirstones, for a moment there is a look of almost confusion before the changes to a look of shock when she realizes that means, when she really realizes you come to truth. When you finish your story, she is just looking over at Torin, who just kind of nods. Very well. You said that the Draconians are behind. Forgive me, we have not received. We're supposed to receive daily information updates from the capital and other parts of Krilat. For the past month or so, we have not received any. All we were told is that there was an upheaval there was a unrest within the current politics and the scaled Senate, and that as soon as everything was settled, new information and new orders would be sent out.
I sat across from a Draconian, and he said that the Primarch had been deposed.
So again, you see, look to Torin, he just kind of responds in Draconian. So he knows you hear him. Doesn't know you would hear him as he responds, as she looks to him, as Commander Sazek looks, and just, he's not a liar, Commander. Coward maybe, but not a liar. So you're just kind of raise an eyebrow at that. She was returning back to common. The Draconians were eradicated, though. Of course, Krilat took care of that. He drove them from the shores. Where have they been these millennia?
Best I can surmise, they came from underground. They have Griff Karajan. They captured him. He is underground in a mine somewhere. They have him.
That is the luckiest natural one you've ever got, Makara. She has no idea who you are. She knows who Griff is. Who? So your father Griff?
Criv.
Like Griff. Who's Griff? Criv. Criv. Oh, right. She.
Names
You mentioned that the Weirstones were failing, or had failed.
Yes.
Sub-Commander, she snaps to oversee repairs. Get me a full. I just lost words.
Accounting.
Accounting
Thank
report.
you. Give me a full damage report, and make sure that our wounded are tended to as best we can for the moment. We still have a city full of orcs to deal with.
If you need assisting with the wounded, our friend, I notice he isn't with us, the drow outside is probably attending to the living and the dead. He can assist with that.
Very, very well. Make sure that no one disturbs the drow. I think the four of you need to come with me. See something. With that, she just kind of, as Torin leaves, she just kind of moves out the door. It may add a bit of another level of mystery to what's been going on. With that, she leads you out. As we cut back now to Sordran, are you doing anything special or just...
I'm pretty sure by now I've had time to speak with each individual party member as to like anything I didn't know about their home, but like Grim when it came to the orcs burial rituals and the draconic burial rituals, and I'm just trying to do what I can based off of what they've already done.
For the orcs, this death, much like think kind of like the Klingon mentality. Death in combat is glorious. This was not good combat though. Something else had gained control of their mind. They could not make their own decisions. These orcs, had they survived, would have been shamed. So right now there's nothing special. There is no great call to Valhalla, so to speak, for them. Essentially, these orcs were, the best way to describe it, they were defeated. They were forced to fight, and there would be no rest for them, so to speak.
Dishonorable.
Yeah.
right now, kind of making sure everything that even in death, though they were enemies, they are like there's no unnecessary mutilation or desecration of the bodies.
Even though these were enemies, you could tell the Dragonborn are not going out of their way to be malicious in their intentions. Like, yeah, they may be tossing the orcs into the hole, but there's no like, they're not like rummaging for any sort of valuables. You know, they're just
they're
whatever
going
they're
as they are.
Yeah. And then you can see that the being led by the two members of the Ashen Wake, that the clerics of Bahamut and the various other ones are doing like full burial rites, because these were Dragonborns who died in defense. There are a few. The sad thing is there are a few cadets among their number as well. And Rakar will later tell you that if a cadet dies in a battle like this, it is instantly, posthumously, given they are buried as a soldier.
Yeah. It's a rank improvement.
Yeah, they much like
It's common.
yeah. So, anything else specifically while you're tending with that?
You said that are there any bodies of the Shadow Ones? Because you said there was like a necrotic feel from
There
them.
were a total of 7 of those, and they were all gathered and taken into the fort.
7? I thought there were 5.
Sorry, 5. Thank you. 5. Thank you.
I guess after I've made sure that everything's, I'm gonna kind of do the other half of my personality and see what I can do to locate them, because that whole like death and necrotic thing coming off of them is a little unsettling. So
Roll me a stealth check first of all, because I assume you're not just going to stroll in. Hey, those just let me go see those things.
that's a 20, dirty 20.
20. Okay. That's a 9-1. Yeah. You actually look up and see that there are several cadets who are carrying one of those corpses into a large building. And as they step in, as they're cadets, they're still not 100% with military protocol. You know that the two door guards, one would open the door and stand there as they moved in. The guards open the door and step inside with them. And it just takes you a moment for you to slide in. They set the body down and move out. It looks like this is some sort of storage room. It has been emptied. From the marks on the ground, it looks like this was maybe to store weapons, armor. So that's why it's currently empty. There are the 5 bodies, all in various states. Some very extra crispy, others damaged by swords, other things like that. We'll get to that moment because that's going to be a big thing as we cut back over to you 4, as you were following her down to the shrine itself proper. Now, you know that most cadets, most people, most soldiers here, there is a alcove that looks like a small chapel. There's several benches that you can go and sit and just kind of meditate. The actual what you see, there is an epitaph of Krilat. He is I can describe it to you. It is an epitaph of him dressed in his armor, with his helmet under his hand and a shield, no sword, just a shield standing there. He is actually buried several dozen feet behind that in an actual tomb. This was an epitaph that was set here and so that people could come without disturbing his actual sleeping place. There are several small weir stones set into the walls of the chapel that act as light sources and give a sense of, they were set there in memory, sort of as a reverence to them. And as you step into the chapel, the 6 of those weir stones are still active.
What?
You feel a slight from your pocket as you pick it, pull the wind. It is slowly, the light slowly gathering in it again.
I'm gonna put my glasses on.
What in
Oh no, sorry. Well, this is our roll me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Forgive me, Arcana.
Okay.
I got the dust off too.
Would this be with advantage, dealing with a magical item?
I'll give this advantage, yeah.
31.
31. Real world term. Have you ever seen a wiring schematic for a house?
Yes.
Essentially, it just shows like the frame of the house and wires and things are conduits running through it. As you look at the walls, it's like that, but it's just lines of energy. All of them moving out from a point behind that statue, behind that epitaph. Not epitaph, it's a, oh God, what are they called?
Bas relief.
No, not a bas relief. It's like the tombs where they put like the statue of the individual on top of it.
Mausoleum.
I'll remember the term while I'm trying to sleep tonight. But anyway,
Monument.
that's such a type of mind. But yeah, from behind that you see a small bluish green glow that's just slowly, and every time it's just sending more
It
energy.
seems to be the source.
Yeah.
What's behind that wall?
That's
Effigy.
effigy. Thank
You
you.
were so close.
So close. She goes, that is the final resting place of Krilat. His true grave is behind, his sarcophagus is behind that effigy.
That's
Go ahead.
that's where the source of energy is coming from that's keeping these weird stones active.
This is why the deep dragons were here. They were after this.
What is this? What are they?
We need behind whatever that is.
You want the tomb
The
is
world
sealed.
is crumbling as we speak. We need behind it. With permission, of course.
I can. It's not a matter of permission. That is sealed. I cannot even open it.
That's right.
Is
That's
this
right. Forgive me. It's been a long time. Do you remember how it was sealed? Or anything, the history, the gold
So
dragon?
when he was laid to rest, his sarcophagus was put back in there in a small shrine, maybe 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot, very small shrine, and literally stone and ore was poured. It was basically it was vaulted and sealed, and then
The way you explained it was sealed with gold dragon fire.
like it was melted down, and then the what's the word again?
Effigy.
The effigy was set in front of it.
is this fort on a ley line?
No. You do not get the sense of that a ley line ran through this point or was a focal point of the ley line.
Okay.
I mean, there are hundreds of small, like arterial ley lines that run throughout the world.
Right.
But the main line, no.
Okay.
Can I just get as close to that whatever glowing thing is?
From where you can see, it's like back in that shrine. Like it's way back in.
I'm going headed toward it.
So like you can get to the effigy, and that's it. Like you can't get like it's made into that wall.
Into the wall.
Yeah. Roll me a perception check.
Doing this because Ren advantage.
Yeah, that's fine.
17 plus 22.
Total 22.
Yes.
Okay. You're just looking all over the effigy. On the back side of the shield, there is not so much a plaque, but a small raised portion where you see very faintly, it's aged with time, very faintly something carved into a flat part on the back of that shield. It takes you a moment, but you recognize that old, ancient draconic tongue. And it reads, what he said when hope returned.
You going for the same thing I'm going for right now?
I'll touch it and. Do I have to say the exact words, or can I just get the gist of it?
I want you to say the exact words.
My data is kind of down, and Discord's not going to pull up because I deleted everything. Yep, it's going to.
Is it in direct messages or is it?
Just a second. I'm sending it to you right now
Yeah. Okay.
because I found it. Because I know exactly where it was.
Nope.
During this entire
Yeah.
thing, during this
There's-
entire
So while this is going on, what are Finn and Grim doing?
Grim
It's my screen. There it is. Go ahead.
is looking at that white dragonborn with a look very much like Winnie the Pooh. Very big man with very little brain going, how do I go about
She just kind of, as like she's just kind of shaking her. Is there something I can do for you, sir?
wow. You look familiar. We
That could be dangerous.
Yeah.
we
Confused.
Finn's ears
Oh,
poke up.
hold on. We rescued a lot of little what are they called for you? Hatchlings?
Rescued dragonborn children.
Yes. Quite a few of them. And one of them is a little white girl.
Gola?
I got it.
That is her.
Yeah, go look.
Where did you find? We were told she's my niece. Did you? My sister, her husband. What about them? Were they?
We don't know anything about them, but we found her on a ship. Was apparently going to be sold into slavery at a cave, but luckily we got a hold of him. A fighting pit, I believe. But
We did
Did we
hear
get-
what had happened.
Did we steal, like, force information out of them that they were taken from an orphanage?
Yeah.
Their parents had been sent to work in a mine
And died.
and had
Oh.
died in the mine.
Okay.
I
There you go.
And that was really short
got
work.
That.
But yeah, unfortunately, it seems like their parents were sent to the mines somewhere, and unfortunately,
I received a message that my sister, her husband, and my niece had all died in a tragic landslide that destroyed their home.
I'm afraid that's incorrect.
They had left looking for work.
But Gola is currently in our state, back in Port Blaven.
How did they get to Port Blave?
That was where we found
Forgive
the
me.
ship.
One earth-shattering revelation at a time.
Understood.
And so she kind of, for a moment, takes a breath. That soldier's bearing kind of slept. He kind of comes back. What do you say?
He reads that and turns back around and just in Draconic says, maybe use little thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
For when we did not answer, now I give all that I am. Let hope return.
What we don't know.
You watch as the
Pepsi Coca-Cola.
as the shield on the statue slowly begins to pull open. A line appearing down the statue as the very chamber resonates with this rumbling noise as you watch as it slowly pulls backwards. Behind it, this thick, you can see where like dragon's fire melted the stone. but a small pinprick of blue light, very faint at first, but then glowing, growing brighter and brighter until the actual rock begins to like water slowly part. Commander Sazek's just like staring as you watch, as it's a good 30, 40 feet back, before you see it slowly all open until a small shrine back is just like softly.
I'm walking towards it.
You move deeper, moving through stone that has not been touched or seen in centuries, millennia. But even still, you could smell the aroma of dragon fire. You reach the back, and there, sure enough, is a very simple sarcophagus. The ancient draconic language wrapped around it, words of protection, of blessings. And as you move up to it, you see in the center of it, it's just this like slight, slowly around the edges of the sarcophagus, this like bluish green light just slowly thrumming. While he is doing, what is everybody else doing? This begins to happen. Wondering. Give me a wisdom check.
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 Disturbance in the force.
It's 22.
As you're kind of standing there, you suddenly feel this immense pressure. And you realize it's divine magic has just made its presence known. A lot of divine magic.
And again, what did y'all do?
Was it me? Was it me?
Like, thankfully, you rolled so like you weren't driven to your knees, but it.
Alright.
The car did it.
The commander's. How did you? What? And this is a draconic. By the platinum, what is going? As you step to the sarcophagus, what do you do?
Is she behind me, or?
Okay, she's slowly moving with you. Yeah.
I don't think this.
Two of you. What are you? Like, are you all following after, or?
Is it deep enough where we could like keep him in sight?
Yeah, you can keep him.
Then I'm gonna stay.
Not only
posted
roll
outside.
for it, like as soon as that light, Sev and Rin are both like have lowered themselves before this before this shrine.
10 man prostrates.
Exactly.
Before
Yeah.
God.
He is humble. He kneels before God.
I'll say to the commander, I don't think this has anything to do with Bahamut.
What do you mean?
I can't pronounce his name.
Sadihor.
Saudi.
You actually hear this. It is loud. The immense pressure when you say that name is actually audible. That
Is there like something up, like a ladder I can put my hand over, or?
it looks like the light is leaking out from the edges of the sarcophagus.
Oh. I can't think of any. Can you help me move it?
She just kind of step up, puts both of her hands and stops for a moment and goes, "You realize we're about to desecrate the tomb of our greatest hero, right?"
I wouldn't call this desecration. I would call this restoration. Damn.
With that, roll me a strength check with advantage.
Can this be athletics instead of strength?
No, this is straight.
I'm a little
Killing me.
You're covered with spaghetti arms. Spaghetti arms unleashing a dragon god.
It's
From a
Alright. You put she rolled high. She just picked the flag. Like her, or who is at the top of the pot? Let me ask that. Or are you at the head or the foot of the sarcophagus?
I'd be at the head then.
Okay. So like, basically, you do the thing. You hold yours and slides. She takes the weight of it. Just kind of the stone hits. There's no issue. And inside is, I want to make sure I got my lore correct, don't want to misspeak. Inside is Kieran. He got sent back in time.
There he is.
Okay. Okay. All right. Inside, looking as though he just went to sleep, is a copper dragonborn, wearing his armor, shield, sword, and here at his neckline of his armor, about the size, not that big around, is at first it looks like a piece of glass, a piece of crystal. Inside is blue and green that fade into a brilliant yellow and then white center, lines of energy moving and coalescing. And then you see it, you see the actual shape. It's a scale about the size of your hand. Roll me, with advantage, a history check.
No. Nothing.
This, as it has been established, you are a student of any sort of ancient lore. I'll let you make the roll as well.
Do we all have a point of inspiration for the 18?
Oh, can I?
Yes, you
I
all
mean-
put
I mean,
inspiration.
use-
Yeah.
Well, all of us are the two that answered.
Using
This is
inspiration
advantage.
rolls both dice.
Yeah. It'll be an advantage book.
Oh my god.
What's your number you're getting out of this?
Nothing. 2 and 4.
28.
28. In your studies, Finnegan, you did come across some of the early writings of the Kratan Empire, the stories of Korvst and his routing of the Drakon Empire, of the chromatic emperors, and it said that he carried a beacon with him, a beacon that would fill those who saw it with hope and with courage to continue the fight. He called it, and please nobody shoot me, the Arkan Scale.
That's the Arkan scale.
He says that, Rakara, that clicks in. You know exactly what this is. And even she's like, you mean it was real? I just assumed it was a metaphor. His spiritual side. I didn't realize it was an actual item.
Every rumor has its place and has its root in some sort of history. Can I? And then I'll try to touch it because that's why we're here.
Soldier, can you get down here, please?
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Yay!
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What did y'all do?
Found the guy
Inspiration.
this comics named after.
Come on. I mean, he was favored by the gods. That's gonna bring into play tonight.
Arguments and testings. Give me like 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 1, 15.
15. Okay. The moment you lock your hand around this piece, this Arkan Scale,
I'm just like fingered it.
okay. So the moment you make contact with this thing, the four of you see his eyes just like flash white. What you see is you're staring up at a clay dirt ceiling. As you roll, you see a copper hand as you roll out of bed to the sounds of, "Oi! Get up! It's your shift, mongrel!" There's a draconian standing in the doorway. As you stand, you hear the clank of chains. You look to see around your neck a enchanted shackle. As you slowly begin to move out, open your eyes in the bright light around you. You see the raised edge of the crater. Turning, you move to like a trough of water. As you lean over, you see the face of Korvst as it reaches down, grabs water, and splashes it. Next, you find yourself walking into a large cavern, a large cave. A rough-hewn pickaxe shoved into you by another draconian as you kind of take it. You just look down, moving. This sense of humility, of almost like this pitifulness, just trying to get through the day. One draconian is pointing to people as he looks and points to you, goes, "You, there's a new cavern, go work it." Just a quick, yes, sir. As you move through with about 6 other dragonborn. You are forced to crawl through a very tight crevice to get into this massive cavern. And you see that there are, in fact, other draconians already here, other dragonborns being to work. As you step in, one juggernaut grabs you and throws you into a nearby wall. "Begin!" You can hear the sounds of whips, of punches. There's another sound. After you've mined, feel like you've mined for ages down here, and you hear the sound. The very wall begins to shake around you. You see the crumbling of the ceiling, massive pieces slammed down, the juggernaut just flattened by a wall. The dragonborns are running and screaming, you're screaming, and then darkness. You awaken in darkness. You try to move, but you can't. You try to breathe, but you can't. You try to scream, but you can't. You're alone. You feel like you're in a tomb. You've lost all sense of direction, all sense of self. You've lost all hope. Boom, boom. You see a glow. You don't know why. There's something about that glow. Boom, boom. You have to get to it. You shift and move. You feel yourself dislodged from the rocks pinning you. You turn onto knee and elbow and start crawling forward, using your bare taloned hands to claw and dig, all the while, boom, boom. You don't know where this light is. You don't know sure if the light's there. Maybe it's just in your mind. But you push further and further in. Blood pulls from your fingers. Your nails, your talons are gone, but still you push forward. Boom, boom. It's maddening. This light, this sound. You have to push forward. There's something there. You fall out into a small cavern, a small cave. You lay there. You don't know how long. You're tired. You're beaten. You're bloodied. You hear it. Rise, young one. Slowly you move to your side, and you see a crystalline dragon. Around it is destruction, boulders sheared in half, its form half buried. And it's, for the presence you get from this thing, it's not nearly as big as it should be. That's the best way to describe it. As you slowly move toward it, you hear, "What has happened to your hope?" You respond with, actually no, how do you respond?
Am I recover or am I?
You're not sure.
If hope was lost, but I feel hope can return. Hope always burns.
But what has happened to your hope? This massive crystalline draconic head moves down until it's like right there, about the size of your body. And again, it's half covered in rubble, and you see it's not blood, but something appears to be like leaking out. It's like almost bleeding out of laceration, but it's not blood. It's like liquid light. And you swear you know this. You know this thing's name. You've said its name. You were very familiar with its name, but you can't recall it right now. And as you look at it, you feel more and more of that knowledge slowly drifting away from you.
What little hope I have, I hope it may catch fire and burn and spread. May one flame become a wildfire.
Roll me a wisdom check.
My favorite.
You feel it's impossible to describe the exact feeling, because he puts the tip of his nose to your forehead, and his body looks to be made of pure crystalline structure, but there is a warmth there, understanding you've never even fathomed before. And suddenly memories begin to rush back through of a father looking at a son. Is that the best you can do, boy? Of a mother holding you. It's his way, son. He loves you in his way. Of a graveside, of an open grave. It's a casket lowered, standing beside a cold father. You reach out to take his hand as he just turns and moves away from you. You now stand among comrades, hoping to garner glory through combat. The sergeants and instructors nearly breaking your will, taking everything you are for the good of this nation. You will stand. You will give all that you are. You will never be good enough. A cousin who surpasses you in leaps and bounds. A father who does not seem to ever be impressed. A battlefield where your brothers are broken, where they've bled out, where you were sure you bled out. But you opened your eyes. As the memories fade, you're no longer the copper dragonborn, as your hands are now the familiar emerald of Rakara. And you're no longer in a collapsed cavern, you are in eternity. Around you are stars, planets, time, ley lines of magic you do not even know how to begin to explain. And there in front of you is this massive crystalline dragon, barely holding on. And in its center, you see a familiar "Fum, fum." For when we turned our backs, for when we could not restore hope to those who we promised to stand for, I give all that I am. And you're suddenly back in the shrine. What y'all saw was Rakara's eyes flash and he dropped. That was it. Split second. And you're standing there now holding the heart of a god. Thorndred.
Yep.
Roll me a wisdom save.
It's a 13.
Actually, we'll roll back some first. As you're now currently looking at the bodies of these shadowy, these dark dragonborns. So keep the wisdom save 13. Roll me an investigation check. Well, actually, how are you wanting to?
Well, first I'm checking the energy on them, and then time for an autopsy.
All right. So roll me. Let's call this just a simple magical skill check. So roll a d20, add your spell attack bonus, because that's your proficiency plus your modifier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a 25.
Okay. You mean this, you try to sense their vibe, so to speak. You're reminded of what's the feeling as the life. Actually, no. That's the thing. As you reach out to connect to them, there is no life. There is no connection to that web that Mormon-Car has. That you're reminded of the vision you saw, where the large taloned claw dipped blood onto the mithril, where that pervasion of life. That is what remains here. There's a pervasion of life. Roll me. Roll an Arcana check.
That's a 9.
Okay. You detect the presence of very powerful necromantic magics. Magics that can even stave off death and the calling of Mormon-Car. Again, you're reminded of what you saw with the large draconic entity. And something tells you that something about that creature, that thing, resides within these, call them Shadowborns. That's the only thing that you can even begin to describe, is they are a shadow of life, that dark reflection that could exist but shouldn't.
So, I'm just going to clarify to make sure.
Okay.
Now, because originally, as with the fireside, I was seeing that claw as just a raised dragon. Like
Yes.
Just an undead. But now I'm starting to get the inkling that there's more to that raised dragon than initially thought. Or not. Based on this.
Point of inspiration. Roll me. Okay, this is interesting. As I often ask Montel, roll me a skill check that would associate your connection with this, in this case, with Mormon-Car. If you believe that's through just your charisma, through your wisdom and study, a stat-based skill check, or it could be one of your skills, a check that would associate your connection to your God.
It would be wisdom, but I'm not asking a thing.
Okay.
As I've been making a point of trying to observe of everything I am doing and everyone else is doing, and how to properly guide instead of just like a general service.
Yeah.
Would that account for perception as a roll or not?
Hold up, perception, yeah.
Good, because that made that a 17.
Okay.
And that was a 4 on the
Okay.
dice.
As you're standing here looking at these things, these Shadowborn, a familiar feeling, as along that connection, a word, or not a word, a feeling mainly, seems to resonate, an image of unlife, of a creature whose very essence was ripped from its body and put somewhere, that of an unnatural existence.
See, that was another thing I was going to ask. You said in my training stuff, I've dealt with Athenox and the others. Without saying the word, have I dealt with a regular version of one of these before in any of that? Or at least heard of us having to deal with one?
You have heard of it. You've heard of the ritual being attempted. What is required to make this ritual is ancient magics, far beyond that which 99% of the mages and of the spellcasters in this world could use.
But a group that
has been forced underground for
And one
centuries.
who essentially initiated. Because remember, Ricard mentioned that the Brotherhood of Shadow and Scale, their whole thing is that they believe the perfect form of the Dragonborn is that of the undeath dragon, the Draco Lich. There was one time when a ritual produced something similarly. You were not part of them at this point, and the seven were called together to deal with it.
Finnegan, I think we got a bigger problem than Ricard waking up a god.
And it seems like these Shadowborn have partaken of the essence of that Draco Lich.
Well, that certainly isn't good.
So at this point across the ring, you hear a massive explosion of static. On 13 save, you are forced to driven down to your hands and knees by the amount of energy that just suddenly... And with that, we'll take our break. When we come back, it's almost 8 o'clock already. We will discuss the effects of what has just happened. Those of you that have questions or about to pull up TikTok and stuff, please ask your questions for us. I'm going to use the restroom, stretch your legs, get a little food, something to eat, and we'll be right back. Oh, God, it's a minute.
You?
Should.
All right. So with that, we'll next out of that. Go ahead and... So with that, now that YouTube and Twitch are working again, we'll do another quick round of intros just to kind of those who just joined in, and we'll jump back into the game. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me. So, with that, we'll start now on the right side.
I'm back, and I am playing Fenrir Neferin, the half-elf straightforward ranger.
I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Grim, or Grimwald Grizzlebrand, the half-orc barbarian.
I am Ben. I'm playing Ricard Karajan, the Emerald Dragonborn Sorcerer.
I'm Ricky. I'm playing Finnegan Tenderfoot, the halfling wizard rogue.
I am Derek. I'm playing Saunders Nalo, our drow cleric rogue.
I am Kenneth, a.k.a. the Southern GM, and I am the Game Master for this. Is the word lunacy comes to mind? But yeah,
I like the word clusterfuck.
That's a very good
That
word.
too.
So with that, we cut back now to the inside of the burial shrine for Corpse Krilat, the draconian warrior who led the Dragonborn in overthrowing the Chromatic Emperors and the Drakon Empire. We picked up where we left off with Ricard collapsed on the floor after just picking up...
Am I unconscious?
You're unconscious, yeah. Picking up the Arcan Scale, which he determined and was shown it is the literal heart of a god, or what remains of it, at least. So with that, what is everyone doing?
Holy
when
shit!
Ricard drops, Fenrir immediately darts down the little passageway to him to do a medicine check.
Sorry, just imagine Finnegan going the way, like, I'm gonna get blamed again!
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'm just up here, surrounded by 5 dead bodies, trying to get myself standing again.
So roll me a medicine check.
20.
Okay. Physically, he's fine. On a 20, what you're able to discern is something happened that every sense, every part of him was overcome by so much stimulus in a single moment, his body just shut down. He's still breathing, his heart's beating. He needs a moment to reboot, so to speak.
Is he okay?
Do you remember that time where I connected my mind to the tree?
Yeah.
This mind was bigger than the tree.
Oh shit. Is he okay?
Is there a thing on the bingo card for sentences I wasn't expecting to hear today?
Does it get a free space in the bingo card? Does that exist?
Free space was
Gratis.
I think he just needs a little time to sleep, and he'll wake up normally. If not, we'll have Sorndrin look at him.
Alright.
Thinking of over the ring. Sorndrin?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Why does he sound constipated?
Maybe.
Ricard touched something.
I can tell.
He's unconscious, but he seems to be alive.
Alright, I'll be down in a minute.
I'm sorry to explain it like this, but it's the best way. After that initial flash, you felt as though you just got hit by lightning.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
So,
Yes, let's not explain that to
we're
the
not
crowd.
explaining that. So, essentially, after that, like you start feeling yourself come back to normal. What are you doing?
Not casting any spells.
Okay.
But I will I'll inspect that item, the Arkenstone a bit.
Can I?
Or not Arkenstone,
Can I say it's gripped in his hands?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I mean, like he's not letting go.
No. Finnegan, what are you? Are you using your glasses?
Of course I am.
Get in here.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Finnegan, literally the guy who wears his sunglasses at night so he can.
Advantage.
With advantage.
Good. That was worse. 20.
Okay. Now, I need you to roll me let's call it a durability check for your glasses. As a magical item, they have +5 to this roll. So roll me a d20 and
Their
that
glasses are looking at the heart of a god.
Oh, we're gonna roll for this one.
Let's hope they don't explode.
Checking how many points of inspiration.
Okay.
I'll call him the Dragon Tower.
I have seen the eyes of God, and now I have glass shards in my eyeballs. That's definitely crooked. Stop it!
Roll in the box and not on the bent side. That's why you have the box.
19 plus 5.
Okay.
Maybe.
So 24.
Yeah, I can see it. It's real hard to see it.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it's a little difficult to read.
So essentially, what you just did
Mm-hmm.
was look at the sun with Ray-Bans on from 3 feet away.
Hi, Trump.
It hurts, but you're able to take the glasses off and kind of shake your head, so no lasting damage to either you or the item. That is pure, untainted, divine energy. Energy older than this world. I'm going to phrase that. Energy that is older than this world, but also appears to be it's made from the same thing that this world was created from. Because of what the dragons are.
How is Sazek?
Yeah.
How's
Nira.
she
Nira
responding?
says that.
How is she responding?
Question. Like she, when he felt like she, kind of just standing there staring at the stone, he sort of like glanced back toward the body and just. By the way, the green tendrils are running through the walls. This is their origin point.
Sure.
This thing is keeping those small weir stones going.
The stone?
This stone.
Or the scale
That
is keeping
scale
the
is
stones
keeping the
running.
stones going.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's just like, what? Is he all right? This power. She's just kind of,
Yes.
Ricardo,
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a contract.
Check
not
or saving throw?
Check. Check.
Roll that con.
18.
18. Because you beat the DC, you do not violently wake up. But it's kind of like your eyes slowly open, your hands still gripped around the Arcan scale. You come to your senses, remembering everything you just saw. And you, for a moment, think you're back in that cavern, that darkness, until your eyes adjust and you see that you're in the shrine, your friends around you. You hear the sound of approaching steps, and you can tell familiarly that this is Swordrick who's made his way down.
You alright?
Maybe. That was. It's him. It's him.
Ooh.
Sadior. It's. He fell.
Does that mean anything to us?
I mean, he has explained this whole thing to us in our run to the teleporter before we got here.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
So you, Finnegan would remember you made up.
When you say his name, holding the Arcan scale, there's another. It just seems the light washes over everybody. This one's a little tickle, you're fine.
Doing that.
Whoa.
But what's everyone's you're forgetting. What are what's everyone else's passive? Perception. Yeah.
17.
16.
11.
You don't notice it. The four of you see that Commander Nira's eyes flash that same, not to that intensity, but same color of that. She's like, I remember him. The gentleman, Sadior. He was a god. Was the god of hope, of wisdom. And is again. How did I forget that?
He gave everything.
Just that is his last piece. That is all that truly remains of him.
This, but I also think the word stones are somehow a piece, a part, a remnant.
The things we power our ships and our cities with
God pieces.
would be poetic, wasn't it? Huh? Our entire civilization built on hope. What do we do? Forgive me, I need to speak to my men. Where's Torin? There's things. You are all welcome just to stay. I will have rooms and arrangements made. I need to. Excuse me. She just kind of turned to quickly, like stopping, looking back at the massive hole that has been made into this ancient shrine. Just shakes her head and keeps moving out.
When was the last time we slept?
This morning? Last night, I believe?
This,
It's been a long day.
sometime this day.
This is like afternoon, right?
Yes.
So
We're technically we're in a jet lag state because we went what was technically 3 hours back from what we were because the whole having to get here in a certain amount of time, and now it has passed that 3 hours and then some.
So like this morning was a draconian fight, and then the tank, and
And some of us didn't go to sleep the night before.
And whose fault was that?
Is there like a
It was
rope or
supposed to
something
be
I
a
can hang it
trade-off.
and then put it under? Or?
There is a small chain attached to it. You can.
Okay, then I will carefully. And then
You notice that as you actually don it, it does seem to shrink down to much more like angle itself. And with that, you can easily hide it away.
And when I hide it, does the diminish, or is it still visible? Or?
The light. This is difficult to explain for this part. As you hold, you don't know yet.
Okay.
What will be the Grim? Help me real quick.
Yeah.
Close the sarcophagus back.
Yeah.
Because it's still a
Yeah.
grave. I think we're the best to like put it back right now.
Yeah.
Before they do that,
You want to check things inside? You want to be a grave robber
what?
or an archaeologist?
Depending on the time.
I was going to say time frame wise. I think we're getting into archaeology.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let him go ahead. I'll have questions
What?
for Saunders.
And Sandra would probably be better helping me do this. What does the body look like
That was my
as
question.
far as age?
When you first opened it, pristine, like he just went to sleep. But now you see an appropriate, like centuries old, draconic body. Even the armor and the sword and the shield have rusted.
Okay.
Do I get the sense that it was the removing of the lid and, oxygenation that did it? Or was it
Removal of
the removal of the scale?
Because of your role, I will let you know that the feeling you got was that even in death, this item was attuned to that body.
Okay.
That's why the answer to your question was not yet.
Okay.
Is that everything you wanted to know?
Yeah, we covered it up. But I do have a question for the DM.
All right.
Would I know how he passed? What the circumstances of his passing were?
That's something that's known in the histories. Old age. He ruled as the first Primarch and just died of old age. Item card for the Arcan scale.
Oh,
You said that there were like benches or chairs or something outside, and where Carl would go sit at the shrine or something, and just sit there and hand over the whatever, and just sit and meditate on it.
You roll me a charisma check. I'll give you advantage.
There's your problem.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. Alright. So I'm just going to, I'll make the knowledge of this. So, Arcan Seals, the amulet requires attunement. Well, attuned to this, you get an additional attunement slot. So basically, it doesn't take up a slot. You are immune to fear effects. Allies within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws versus fear effects. If you are an ally within 30 feet of you, would be healed by any amount, they are instead healed for the full amount the spell could heal. As a free action, you can emit holy light. Any creature that is evil is at disadvantage to all rolls within that light. The light extends 10 feet from you.
Just don't do that one in the
There
proximity of
is still
Nathaniel.
something hidden about the sigil. There is a hidden aspect to it. that has to be unlocked.
Activate the pseudo paladin.
Circle back around.
I may have made this item a while back.
Then again, while you're checking things out, is there anything up with this? The weapon I took from the big guy. What's up with that?
It's just a lump of metal.
Okay, it's just a big ass lump of metal.
Yeah.
Okay. You just swinging it around fine. So then figured I'd ask.
Can I tell what kind of metal?
I don't know. You just
Roll me a nature check.
He's got a better chance of it than the
Yeah,
rest.
he's saying I'm probably
shot
the rest of us.
Better shot of doing this than everybody.
Strange
Plus
enough
5,
that we
but
have
still,
2 rangers.
and no nature.
I am not that kind of ranger.
16.
It's just like unprocessed iron ore.
So this guy was just swinging.
Typical orc weapon.
He swung a freaking iron vein they pulled out of the ground.
Yeah. What they do.
Culture's weird, Grim. I'm sorry to say it. It worked for it.
Not very efficient.
But it's just weird.
None taken.
Grim, roll me a perception check.
That is a 21.
As you were walking among the dead bodies of the orcs, you recognized many different clans, many different war parties. You did not see any of the Scale-Blooded, though, which was the party that had taken control of the Ironcrag City. So it looks like that none of them were subjugated and made to come up here and take part in this attack.
Okay. Interesting. So, would I be able to tell which tribe it was?
There are multiple. It looks like they just took a lot from a few.
Okay. But just none of the...
No, there are none with the marks and scale points. Or scale points.
None of those bastards. Okay. How convenient.
Everybody's still around the area and in the room or something?
Right now, it's just you guys in the room. Okay. She left.
We need to get you somewhere to rest.
Sandra,
You've been up all night.
Yeah.
you saw those
I can go a bit longer.
Shadow Dragonborn, Deep Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Which mechanically he has no exhaustion.
I remember how
for
they were
having stayed
created.
up.
No.
Yeah, I think I figured that out myself.
The ones.
That's a bad.
That's of your rank, isn't it? Your specialty.
I hate to say yes, but at the same time, I think we're going to need a few more hands than us. And that's what worries me, because teleportation is out from the sounds of it. Flight is out from the sounds of it, which means that we would be trying to hold the front of something, for lack of better terms, closest akin to a god on this plane, while we wait for people to show up to help. And I do not look forward to that.
Well, we got it.
We start here.
We've always had our own before.
I assume you can send word to whoever.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of that in a little bit. I just need to make sure I collect myself, because that was... It's not great figuring that out and then someone deciding to touch something that sends shocks through your entire body.
In his defense, he had no idea that would do that to you.
Oh, but when I send Kieran to another realm. Oh,
Yeah, because you sent him to another fucking realm.
I didn't. You did.
I did not.
It was
Through accident
It was
or on
magic.
purpose, it was
Wild
through something
magic.
you did.
all the magic in this area is something's screwed up.
After that discussion, this sending will be sent off.
Got you. Can they respond to that?
Yes, they get up to 25 words to respond.
Oh, it's sending. Okay, I'm
It's
sorry.
sending.
Yeah, it's sending. Okay.
It's not message. Sending.
How would he respond to this? It's no easy thing you ask for, but if you believe it prudent, I will call the 7 to you. Be careful, young one. Danger. That was
Danger is number 25.
Danger was number 25.
Okay, close. I must have miscounted. I must have did a syllable thing instead of words.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well.
Rakara, you do remember that there is a very extensive library here in this fort. As this was a place the cadets studied. So that information is also known to you.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know exactly how it works, but we do have some teleportation available to us.
We do.
He brought us back from the
True,
loft
yeah.
with that staff.
Yeah, the key took us
You
to
have
the
the
courtyard.
hither and thither staff.
Thither and thither.
So what can he
I
do
swear
that?
I made that before I saw the bamboo.
That will come.
Do we need to go somewhere in particular?
No,
If the cake is a lie staff.
If we need backup from somewhere, we could very easily use that to get someone
to here.
where we
We're gonna do
needed
some
them.
in-game shit.
True.
On your left.
Speaking of,
The problem is,
Don't always know where the people that I'm getting help from are going to be, so I think we'll waste more time trying to hunt them down than having them come here.
so they will come here on their own.
Yes, it just might be us trying to stall for some time, so...
We can do that.
How much time?
Yeah.
How long does it take to cross the ocean?
If,
Oh, that's a lot of time. Yeah.
But you,
Grim,
yeah.
how familiar are you with guerrilla tactics?
As in I beat my chest, I beat
No,
them
no.
down.
I've seen a few in a zoo before.
You also turned into a grade 8 that one time.
I did do that. No, I mean
As in running in a
hit and run. Hit and run tactics.
Not used to it, but I can probably give it a try.
Question.
How familiar are your military tactics with guerrilla?
Is
Sorry.
Choose my words very carefully. The majority of the Green Wardens are not that militant of a force. The Wolveir, though, they have been known to use more military style tactics to get, and they have been known for hit and run style with their mounts.
The Green Beret Wardens.
is your car more trained in the rank and file or more in the hit and run?
You are a Centaurian. You
are.
You were a foot soldier. Essentially, yeah. The basic Dragonborn military style was that of the ancient Romans. You were the phalanx. You were the hoplite.
No, I don't know anything about this.
So technically, you as part of the Emerald, part of that squadron, you would be more support and artillery strike, but it was essentially massive military presence. How the Turians put it? Overwhelm your enemy with just superior might.
Yeah.
That's how the Dragonborn fight. They literally fight with the ferocity of the dragons. Like,
Overwhelm your enemy with superior numbers.
that's it, yeah.
Do I happen to have any contacts in the Wolverine?
technically all Grey Warden commanders have contact with each other.
You might want to call your brothers when someone bigger than
It's not his
My
brother.
sister
Oh,
is
sister.
the leader of the
Even
Green
better.
Wardens.
Even better.
So, as with the last military force we assisted with, they have been in siege for, you said, like 3 days? How's the stock?
Well, considering that their main source of food and such would come from the gardens and the farms within the crater, they had enough hardtack and water to last for a while, but
Alright, I'm taking the thing and we're starting the soup kitchen again.
a couple of tables are set out.
It's spam and water sandwiches. Let's go.
I feel the
Line up
need
and go.
to.
Spam and water sandwiches?
Spam and I meant spam sandwiches and water. But draconic is hard, man. It's a
You
cool
see
grammar thing.
one like you put the spam in the water.
There's a whole thing with lips versus no lips.
Our
Technically, they don't have cheeks; it's just got all with it.
our ranger friend got accidentally transported to the Feywild. We have contacts with Feywild-ish. Do you think we need to send a message to them to be on the lookout for them? This is everyone.
Yes.
If I could get in contact with my sister, she could pass along information about Kieran's situation to the Parliament of Trees. And as the current leader of the Green Wardens, she could possibly get us aid either through actual physical presence or information and advice from the Wolfear.
You want to do that now or later?
Do you think it would be helpful to have that done now?
I am concerned about Kieran, yes.
I mean, honestly, we could always just try and message Kieran ourselves.
There is a slight chance of that failing. And I would feel better if he had support in an unknown land. As good a ranger he is.
Send in the
Something like that. You just tell me what you need to send to your sister. And
What part you need? And I can dig it out.
I don't remember. I had an idea earlier.
Okay.
And I was seeing if I had written it down. If I did, it was not in this notebook.
I'm going to burn all of my meta magic at 10.
Okay.
So I'm going to burn down to 0 and get back 2 for level spell slots.
All right. Bring in. Okay.
This seems important. So,
Do this.
Pretty quiet here. Pretty quiet here.
How often can you use that teleportation?
One more time before I need to rest.
If you can get a message to Theala, is there any particular No, she's met you, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's familiar enough
Yeah.
with you. Just get, if possible, an update on if they're okay, but whatever information it is that would be helpful for what we're doing here.
you want to arrange a meeting point with them?
Is that something that we can do, or are we too pressed for time here?
we're pressed for time, but we need all the information and help.
If we can get some of the Volvir here, they're the ones that are the most likely willing to take the fight outside of Ilthalas. Because if I remember right, they are the ones that if a threat is outside of Ilthalas, it would make its way to here. They would be willing to go out of Ilthalas to take care of it.
Faeterra and Krilat. Interesting.
So yeah, there would be a foreign military stop. I mean, Ilthalas does have its armies. Like, it does have armies. But, put it this way. The Green Wardens are the FBI. The armies are the CIA. You would send the armies outward and that kind of stuff. But for like internal security, they would turn more to the Green Wardens first. And then if need be, back them up with army. With like military.
I would not ask for permission from the commander, but tell them first about this before we bring them here.
Absolutely.
We can send a message to Fiala. Sure, words.
You did bring up an interesting point, though. Currently, right now, as far as Commander Sazek knows, the government has fallen. There is no proper.
I thought maybe I told him about the Sirwanash is shut in. It still stands.
Okay, you hadn't told that part. So that's why I was okay. So there is some sort of order.
Mm-hmm. But it's true.
The gym dragons are
of course.
If they were to come from Ilthalas to here, to Krilat, would this be the point where their boats would dock?
Technically, it is only about 100 or so miles from Kerekes to the southern part of Krilat.
Mm-hmm.
About twice the difference from like Florida to Cuba. It's about 180 miles. So they could get up there in a matter of days, even less than that.
All right.
But they would be landing on the southern part of the continent.
Okay. And we're on the.
You're on the north.
Yeah,
Far
north.
So it would be up to.
And we have no communication.
It'd be up to
With
you to
the
get
southern part.
them here then. Some of them here.
I mean,
The quickest way.
that's a lot. A lot of people.
How many is in the force? Do you know?
Most Green Wardens are company size, so between 2 and 3 dozen.
Somewhere between 2 and 3.
30 to 50. 30 to 50, depending on any.
And your dimension door lasts.
For 6 seconds. I think.
Our company was between.
Well, you said 2 to 3 dozen. Dozen is 12. So that'd be 24 to 36.
Oh,
I'd say
okay.
20 to 30. That's what I was like.
So,
You said 40. That was like.
30 to 50 on the outside.
So math, how many could get through a door in 6 seconds? You said it was wide, and
I mean, yeah, you could. It opens about 6 foot by 10. So if they rush, I mean, I'd say you could probably get at full sprint a dozen at a dozen in 6 seconds through.
Right. And I can do this twice a day.
better than waiting a week.
Meaning I would have to go there. So that's one time per day. It will be my last time today.
You can't open a portal from here to there?
I have to be there. Like it's not a hallway.
Yeah,
It's
so
a one way.
it's a think dimension
okay.
door. Like where he's at, he opens, he pulls that point to him, steps through, points reset.
If we're going to be resting anyway, if this is something that if you can contact her and get approval for, then we could go there, rest there, if you're going to be spending the time to do that anyway, and then bring them here.
All right. Now it resets on a short rest. So I can basically do it 2 times an hour. What's a short rest?
I'd say 2 hours.
About 2 hours, yeah.
Okay. So
You could get them
Like-
here in a day.
yes, I mean I can get a lot done in a day, but it's going to take most of the day.
The big question is going to be whether or not they're going to be able to come here, depending on what the forces and the attacks on Ilthalas look like. But if it's If it's not as bad enough to where they could spare the forces, coming here to basically cut off the head of the snake, as it were, might be better than to have them fighting the forces there.
Alright, I will start sending a message to Fiala.
Okay. What's your message say?
In Krilat with Fenrir. Somebody doing the
Yeah.
Fighting Draconians. Request help from
Wolverine.
from Wolver. We can come get them.
That's 15.
50. To fight here in Krilat.
20.
At the root of evil, or something like that.
That's
Flavor.
No wasted space.
Cyber car.
Escort.
There is a moment, longer than you would like, of silence before a familiar voice responds with, I'm going to have to count this. Dealing with remnants of Draconian battalion will get message to Althus quickly. Tell Finn we are all right. Can send backup now if needed.
All right.
You have
Okay.
one
If we
word.
count all right as one word, I think it's
All right
20,
was
which
one
all
word.
right is technically one
The
word.
final word she sends, Aldebark.
that's the sound he makes.
So all you guys hear is,
Shoo.
She said that they were all good. I assume that just means the family. And they can send people now. Said Aldebar. I thought he could only transport in with us.
He can transport via plants anywhere.
Does
he know
the plants here?
that's the thing. You're pretty sure like you'd have to send like an image of the tree. It has to be an approximate size. That kind of stuff. Like you can't just go, there's a flower. That's how that works.
Send as in, send an image, like send a.
Like send an image, you can describe the plant, describe the tree, that kind
To
of stuff.
Aldebar.
Yes.
Coming here, did I see any trees in the vicinity that would be large enough for what he would need?
Like around the fort.
Yeah.
Technically, now that I have this paper, we have a secondary location we can check from too.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I said, oh, I forgot there's one there.
Do I need? If we need, I can check within the city walls.
For three. You mean Zilanosh?
Yes.
You. How do you don't worry about
Roll me a luck roll.
it. If you can, go ahead.
Yes,
One
15.
of these.
There was a small grove of trees that was growing between several roots of the Nephine Mountains, the Nearthine Mountains. And there was a grove where one of the trees had grown to about 20, 30 feet tall. That could facilitate all the work.
We'll tell Rikara where that tree is.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I'm familiar with the area. we would need to be there to meet them, of course. And that's on the other side of where we are right now.
From where you're at, it's maybe a couple of hours back. It's not on the far side of the crater. It's a couple hours from the fort.
Is that as the dragon flies?
As the dragon flies, probably about an hour.
No, if
I
we
can
need-
take Seb to meet them if need be.
That would we'll tell the commander, of course, what's going on, and sure, that's fine. Yes.
to say, if we want to check within the walls of the city, I do have a contact. If we need to check if they are shut down from what is on the inside or what is on the outside.
And checking magically sending, of course.
Yes. Have a contact.
Go ahead if you feel. Go ahead.
Really just sending a message to Krilat. What is the current standings within the city walls? It's a very short message for her. Or I should say, on continent, what is the current standings within the city walls?
You hear your response. The city stands. The council is fighting with itself. Issues are arising. I'm handling them.
That's all my standings for the day. Because Soup Kitchen takes one of my sending spell slots.
I will send a message to Automark. How many words do I need to describe the tree?
25.
Is there an equivalent of like latitude, longitude, specific type of stuff that Finn could help with?
Yes, I will
With
say
his,
that
Outlander.
between the two of you, you're able to give a very detailed description of this tree, its location, basically painting a word picture.
And meet Finn either in hour, something like that.
All right.
Broken English. So it's not.
Natural 20. Yeah, he picks it up perfectly. You hear a response of, I will be there soon, Rukara.
He will be here and yes, in Vermont.
Should we tell someone that
There's a giant tree you'll be walking about.
Giant tree and other
You'll
armies.
handle that. Have you been here this whole time?
Yep.
Okay. Grim will basically get climbed on because he's way taller than Finn.
Backpack.
So, goodbye kiss. And Finn will say that I will be careful. I'll have
Please.
Seb with me. But you watch your back. And
Always. Besides, made a promise to your dad I need to stay alive in order to keep you safe.
he's not the one you need to be worried about.
I know it's your mom. Your mom scares me. Don't your brother know he's just a dick.
He's all words. Good luck.
Stay safe.
I will.
I'm gonna go find somewhere to take a nap.
I'm with you after.
So as all this is relatively happening within a few minutes, there is a knock on the door, and you see several of the cadets step in, and in kind of broken, calm, but still understandable. Oh, we are here to take you to your rooms for the evening, should you wish them. We do have some. We do have some food as well. Stores are quite low, but at that point, I'll say that you pick up, and go up. If you will follow us, please.
If he will, I need a quick meeting with your commander before.
Of course, the one of the ones will take you off to see.
Can you give me a minute before I step out?
Yeah.
And then I'll private send me if you don't mind.
Okay.
And then when everyone steps out, I'll send a message to Sam. Landed in Krilat. We are safe. You stay safe. Looking forward to finishing this mess and coming home. What's that?
You're at
18.
18, yeah.
To you. And that's it. Tony.
Would you please verify? Don't announce. I want you to. Okay. Roll me a charisma check with advantage.
Check.
Share out of inspiration.
Yep. 9 inspiration. But plus stuff. So 6. 12.
Almost as though a radio is losing its battery, you get back a broken message. Kara, Draconians land. Blaven, attacked, damage, holding, manor, okay. You're led to Commander Sazek's office. The door stands open, and you see her like rummaging through papers and looking through various things. She goes, Draconic. She's, yes, Ricardo, how can I help you?
Just giving you an update. We have help coming from Ilfalas within
Ilfalas?
a few hours. Yes.
Okay, we appreciate any assistance. What are the elves sending an army, or what's?
A regiment of the Green Wardens, I believe. The elf, the half elf, is son of a magistrate and a high standing within the Green Wardens, so we have contact.
I will admit, were it not a dire scenario, I do not think the Primarchy would allow.
The Primarchy is.
That's why I said it was a dire situation. Yes, of course. I accept any, as commander of this post, I accept any offer of help that is extended. If you excuse me, you see other officers start to step in. We are having a meet. We are meeting about the Orcrag Canyon. We're going to try to mount some offense. We have to plan. Forgive me, please, if you.
About that. When I know I'm not part of this, but we would offer our help in retaking that. Not today. We are very proud of this.
If you are needed, we will call upon you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll follow
Speak
you.
for yourself.
We need naps.
We need naps.
Speak for yourself. I'm fine.
Great nap, please.
The only thing is, they probably wouldn't accept much help from me.
True.
You'd be the perfect agent to provide.
So what?
Sordran as Sordran and Nathaniel are passing out spam sandwiches.
What?
Because once I set it up, it's good to go. But I could kind of slip off and take a nap if I need to.
So what is everyone doing? As you are all, they're not lavish rooms by any means, but they're comfortable rooms.
I'll take that one.
Yes, after I set everything up, I'm going to find where they're taking us to take a nap.
So with that,
Ren will see Finrail off.
Okay.
And well, more than a whim, it's a worry. Walk among the orc bodies and pray to Lunakira that a familiar one isn't among them.
make a perception check.
That is a 22.
You pass among the various orc bodies as they're being laid into the pits for burning and burial. You do not see your father. He is not here. And as you're about to turn, you watch as they lift one and uncover an orc. Looks to be a little bit older than you. And you stop for a moment because you've seen a face similar to that before. A face that has haunted your nightmares for a long time. You never knew if the orc you faced in the arena had any family. But that dead orc there bears a striking resemblance to him. As you would lift it, you watch as a necklace, the sword wound around on his neck has cut the leather thread in half. The necklace falls, and you see it is a clan mark. I have to take notes here.
Notes.
Clan of the Blood Axe. The talisman is a simple, metal or stone axe with red paint on the edges. While one of the more aggressive, they are not unreasonable. Their crev sits more toward the southern part of Sorkor, not far from the arena.
So, me, Grim being from a crev south of Nazarel.
Yeah.
Probably knows of this one.
Yeah, so if Nazarel's here, you're essentially your crev is in one of the outlying regions around Nazarel. Theirs would be more up to the northern, northwest. Close, it's further enough away they don't give any problems with the city, but close enough that occasionally you would see Blood Axe members who would come and trade in the goods they had found, so to speak. So, and they were also very, very common within the arena as well. But you watch as that amulet, that talisman, just kind of falls off and lands at your feet.
He kind of sees that and then kneels down and picks it up. Kind of has a internal struggle with himself whether to keep a hold of it or not, and then slips it in his pocket. Who knows, maybe he'll return it one day. Not sure.
Fenrio, roll me a travel roll.
8.
as you are flying on set toward that smaller of trees, a little over, about right at an hour on Dragonback, so to speak, a shadow passes over you. You turn to see a large wyvern dive out of the sky. Now we can see how good of a flyer Severin is. Let's make some acrobatic rolls. It's going to be three. It's going to be a contest of 3. If you win the majority, Sev will elude the wyvern. If I win, the wyvern brings Sev down, and we go to combat.
All right. This is using Severin stats.
Severin stats, but your proficiency, because you're like reigning.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who have seen House of Dragons, this is essentially what was happening in that last episode. Hopefully, you fare better, because that broke my heart. All right, so first roll. 24.
I rolled a 6, so 17.
I rolled 19, so that's 1 win to me. 12.
15.
Okay.
14.
13.
If I can roll higher than a 5.
That's 3, 2 to 1. You got it. It's pretty tight flying. Like this thing drives on the first hit down drives Sev into a small canyon, and you were just like basically, for lack of a better example, you are Anakin Pot. Like you're like just tight curves moving. It's ironic you're wearing the Wyvern Rider outfit because it's actually helping. It's letting you move and grip. So you're able to, like, whenever 70s like a turn to move through something, like, you barely even shift from it. And finally, this thing's about twice his size. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This thing's a little bit bigger than he is because Seven's not a large size, correct?
That is large.
Yeah, so this is also just a little bit bigger. Seven is just big enough to dive through this, like, tight crag of a canyon. And as he dips down, the wyvern's just too massive, slams into it. Sev allows room for pulling up and making out and continuing on. So no issues. You will arrive at the small grotto.
I'm going to quietly leave that out of every single.
I'll give you a point of inspiration for that.
Better. Grim would never let you leave the house.
Babysitter for the kids.
Just as Severin banks and begins to pull into land, you see the largest tree in the center kind of shift and move and shake. And Aldebar, the loud groaning of the trees, he just kind of steps out. You see him kind of look around for a moment. He just kind of shakes, and already the snow beginning to gather onto him. Seeing you, the large wooden hand just kind of raises up as he just begins to stride over. As he approaches, he's, Finriel, it is pleasant to see you again, though the circumstances may not be such.
It's good to see you too again.
Where are your companions?
They are all back at a fort that we just helped save from a attack from these draconians.
Is it a fair distance?
It's about an hour flight on Sev here.
See, just like you hear the crinkling of wood as a smile. Lady Daedra figured I may have been summoned in an area not easily tracked. The Grand Dryad, Lady Hope, as he reaches up among the boughs of his branches, has given me a gift. Brings on this massive wooden hand, and inside of it is a little acorn. I can be contained within this totem, and then broken can be summoned from it once more. Unfortunately, it is only usable one time. Anything else before I move within the totem?
Is there anything, because Beck can't think of anything, is there something that Finn would need?
Roll me an insight check.
Probably less than 6, that is my other stats. It's a single digit.
Okay. Even on that, I will say that the perfect thing that pops in your mind is you to remember that mentioning that there was a talk of Sylvan intervention, the fact that Kieran is in the Fey realm, and that he is the guardian ent for a member of the Department of Trees. So perhaps asking something along similar lines.
Oh, you wouldn't have been able to ask the all of that earlier with that time constraint. So when we first arrived here, there was a flash of wild magic, and one of our party members, Kieran, was transported to the Feywild.
The Parliament of Trees has lost contact with the Supreme Court. They believe that the unaligning of the ley lines has closed the various Fey gates. I'm afraid for the moment, until this cataclysm is resolved, your friend is on his own. Though he may find allies where he least expect it, within that wild place.
He's a very clever one. I'm sure
Clever is
he'll
what
be
is
able to make it.
needed within Presaria.
Thank you, Aldebart.
Once you watch as he extends this long, curved wooden finger, as he touches the acorn, you're not sure what's going to happen. But as he touches it, you see this like green energy just kind of moves into it as the rest of his body, as though his body was suddenly burned in a massive flash fire. Just seems to turn to ash and kind of crumples away. But you feel a familiar warmth within the acorn.
He will put it in his inner pocket. Pat Sev, let's get back as quickly and safely as possible.
You watch as Sev takes wing and he flies up, looks in the direction he came from, and then kind of goes. All right. So while that's going on, everyone else just resting, or what's going on?
Makar I'm sorry.
Good. Yes.
He's laying in that familiar place.
Yeah.
And staring at the ceiling, and you'll whisper a prayer of Bahamut for Sam's safety, for the hatching safety. What's her name? Our word.
Rizza.
Rizza's safety.
Where you are and what you're holding, roll me a charisma check.
60.
For a moment, you don't feel anything. You don't hear anything. But as you finish your meditation and go to stand, you hear as the sound of something small had just taken the feathered wing and flew away. Finrio, you returned with no issue. Meaning, as you land, you were taken into the room where your companions are. You were given a spam sandwich and a thing of water.
He doesn't even taste it. He does it.
There is a small side effect, by the way, of the acorn. You can actually maintain a telepathic link to Aldbark. So essentially, because I don't think you just want to just summon him in the middle of that kind of
Yeah.
All right. So with that, you all take a long rest.
Yay! Sweet. Health. Health slugs.
in the morning, while the rest of you were sleeping, Grim, you are gently shaken awake. And you see that Commander Stazek, she's kind of standing there. Her armor is off. She's wearing very like informal attire, just a simple robe. As she is looking at you, she was, "I have a word with you, sir."
Yeah, of course.
Follow me, please. She just kind of steps out into the hallway. I have questions about my niece. Is she all right? I know you said that she is at your estate currently, and in the state of the world, I want to make sure that she is well cared for.
Well, in a way, she's got new brothers and sisters now. With the other hatchlings that we currently have.
Exactly how come you to save her? How? I would very much like to know the story as to what happened, as much as you know, please.
Well, in that case, we heard that there was some sort of disturbance at a ship. I'm not going to mention the
Because how long would you say after Fenrir got back that this conversation is happening?
I mean, like he got back. It was a long rest, so it several hours. I guess.
Yeah, which means I'm awake and staring down at the storage unit.
Oh God!
Only
Yeah.
4
That's
hours,
fair,
which
that's
means
fair.
I could probably hear part of this too.
But we got in there, we stopped these people and found out they were smuggling kids, specifically Dragonborn kids.
For what purpose?
To have them fight in pits.
It's
Yeah. Of course, like I said, we put a stop to it. We took them to the estate and we...
okay. I'm going to ask the name. I don't remember the reason for their being selected was they wanted to fight pits.
That was what we were told, that the reason that the Dragonborns, the kids were being kidnapped. Now, these specifically was because their connection to Bahamut bloodline.
Yes.
Faeterra chose them.
Faeterra chose them, but our understanding for why...
I don't think it was. I thought it was to work in the mines. Like that was the whole.
It was the draconic...
I think, they were being brought to work in specific mines in the south, I think.
Forgetting
The
shit.
Vorak mining. That was,
yes.
But these four specifically were selected
because of their
platinum
connection,
touch.
because of the platinum touch. Yes.
He was taking the children to the North Port from Gallifrey.
For all I know, this is what
Yeah,
Grimmer
that's
fair.
That's fine,
because he's
That was many moons ago. That was way back.
It is the very first note in this notebook.
Nice.
Because this is names of NPCs.
Gotcha. So I know that they were being selected to go work in the Valrog mines. So Zytherin was there and selected these four because of their connection to the blood of Bahamut.
But there was an understanding that sometimes,
that
chromatic Dragonborns were picked
because of the ferocity.
Because of ferocity
Gotcha.
for fighting.
Yeah.
So there's that whole thing is technically true in his understanding.
Which, by the way, Valrog mining, that whole thing's still going on.
You can name drop Damrax as the one who drugged and sold them into slavery, if you remember this. Would you like to see my notes from that section?
Would you like a note, Grim?
There you go. That's that section. That in the next page.
yay. But
Do you name drop?
sure, why not? Actually, hold on.
See if you remember it.
Intelligence check to see if he even remembers. Yeah, he remembers. So he will You'll say Damrax.
You see, Damrak.
Yeah.
Damrak is commander of military forces at Galathir.
If that's the case, then
Why does Galathir sound important?
Because that's a mine that was mentioned at the exact same time.
yeah.
That was the city.
That was the city. That was the port that is
It's locked in. or
locked
something.
in. That's also
Oh,
where
okay,
the
yeah.
orphanage was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking them
The
to
Northport.
Northport from Galathir.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Damrak is an amethyst dragonborn who is commanding the military forces at Galathir.
Then you might have a bad egg, for lack of a better term.
Moment of inspiration for him to punt.
Worst hatchling reference ever.
That's not my pencil. That's not
She just kind of,
It's just sitting there.
Skill Father, what is happening to my country right now?
I don't know. But I want you to know she is. Last time we were home, she was perfectly fine. She has this adorable giant stuffed dragon that she drags around everywhere. And Sondrin has been kind of talking with her. Apparently she's some sort of leaning to clerical stuff.
My sister and I, our father was a sorcerer. The line, he was a silver dragonborn.
Well, apparently she has some sort of magical ability.
Unfortunately, I was more gifted at sword than spell. My poor sister, as well, was not able to cast. I'm glad to see that my father's bloodline is not yet ended.
But she is, well, she's being taken care of.
Were these the only 4 who were selected and taken from Galathir by Damrak?
I wish I could say yes, but I have no idea. There could be more.
I need to speak with my lieutenants. I know right now we are not in a position, but that the literal future of my country cannot be sold. Excuse me, she just kind of turns and walks off. Sondrin, I'm going to say on your god level perception, you very much, even if unintended, you were able to pick up on what was going on there.
Which means now I know she and Gala are the
Yes.
because I was not there when the whole eye thing came back.
Yep.
And that makes so much
Which,
sense.
by the way, Damrak happened way back with your meeting after Gravik's fall. So that's where, yeah. All the roads are coming to Kirkgrove.
If I remember right, didn't that happen because they sold
Grim
fake
bad.
drugs?
They sold him
Specifically.
fake drugs that was he thought
Bad
was
tea.
coffee.
We went to buy
The coffee,
we
yeah,
went to buy coffee for Nathaniel on our date,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
sold us bad
Yeah,
coffee,
after Tabaxi.
and it was actually
After
After-
seeing
Literally, right here at the top. Tabaxis equals cats.
And then Grim,
After
in a
seeing
pissed
the-
off of them going off with his money, that was one of the first times I was like, alright, Grim, have fun. Water walk. And him just charging across the
they
bay.
called you in
and then found
immediately,
out this guy
Yeah.
was smuggling.
burned this shit down.
Yeah,
Because-
you
Yeah,
cast
one
that
thing
draconian
that I
spirit
remember vividly is
and-
finding
and
out that
Yep.
made a dragon.
I think, was
Yeah.
that the night that
I don't know.
You
I know.
summoned the big dragon
what
spirit
I
for the
remember-
first time.
vividly is finding out this guy was smuggling kids and literally punching his skull into paste.
Yeah, because I bored a hole into the bottom of the boat and walked in, was surrounded by drugs, and then was like, "Why are there kids in a cage? Grim, there's kids in a cage."
Like you summoned the draconic spirit, which basically blew the door to the cabin open, and you rushed past it, and so just
and just proceeded to that yellow bastard. This guy, that yellow from Sin City.
Yeah.
Hemlock was not pleased.
And to be fair, the fact that you broke up a smuggling ring kind of made up for the fact that you basically sunk a ship in the center of the harbor, so that...
It's alright, it was empty. Besides, we got the kids out, there was nothing else on the boat.
These were also...
Nothing else on the boat.
Even though there's a bunch of fish that are super high right now.
Also,
super high right
You took everything.
Oh yeah, you took all of
The
them.
two of us took everything.
If you remember, these were the Dragonborn that were later taken back to Port Blaven to the dungeons. That something mysteriously happened to.
Oh, not something. We know what happened to it. He fucking admitted to it recently. And ran.
That was good. By the way, Couples Dragon was mine!
Didn't he just tell you?
Yeah.
I just told
and
him.
I haven't told y'all about that.
Nope.
So, with that, the rest of you will slowly come back to consciousness as your long rest completes. There is a very military-style breakfast of grits, hardtack, and coffee. It's not tasty, but it is filling, and it will keep you alive.
Works for me.
Back home.
I love Chris.
I'm alright with this.
Needs a little salt.
When the party is
They need some Waffle House Jedi, though.
together, I will
Making a t-shirt.
I will let them know. I sent a message to Sam. Tell more Draconians attacked Port Blaven. The kids are safe. I'm not so sure about the estates. She is safe. Riz is safe. But I hope that they're being protected.
About this time, you receive a sending from Halifar. It was, Ricarda, Sam told me to tell you, we pushed back the Draconians. The children are all right. Estate being used as headquarters. Don't do something stupid like die. Her words. Yes.
He cocked his head and goes, huh? That'll work.
You do that a lot with sendings, don't you?
So,
A lot of unexpected stuff has been happening.
when you sent the message, I rolled to see what was happening at Port Blaven. The roll was the natural one.
That was a 1. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was confused for a moment. I was like, what did I do? I
I
didn't do
then
it.
made a roll now to see how well they were doing versus they rolled a base of an 18. So they managed to halt. Essentially, so what happened is, and they'll send this to you later. Thankfully, you stopped the destruction of the two ships, which would basically have blocked off the majority except for one way to come into the harbor. So now when those when those ships arrived, there was room to maneuver the Blaven Navy into effect to capsize most of the transports, deal with that, and the few dozen, probably more close to like a few hundred or so soldiers that got onto the city proper between Halifar, Hemlock, and Haggerty, as well as the Archmagus and the Blaven military. They stopped. They stopped the advance just inside, past the docks into the district of coins, the coin district. They were able to hold back, and you were also being told that other incursions were happening across various cities as well, and that they've received word because just how far they've received word that there is a full battalion, so over 1,000 soldiers of Draconians marching in from Stornacor, but Stornacor is doing its job. Both the local fauna, the weather, orcs, basically they're chipping away, and they said at their last word from name of the city again?
Nazarel?
From Nazarel, that the Draconians have fallen from over 1,000 to just under 700 soldiers.
Mm.
So the longer they go, the more they're losing. They were expecting to be able to just basically port into the cities, but thanks to Finnegan realizing what was happening with the teleportation circles and shutting them down, that stopped that, so they're actually having to physically walk.
And Storacor a beast.
Are you telling us
Because
this or not?
Yeah, I'm telling you all
Yeah.
this.
Tell Gauntlet. Tell him to stay out of my stash.
I find it funny that
Tell
our
'em.
state's being used as a court.
Tell all of my books better still be there.
Well, the council hall's kind of
Destroyed.
Destroyed a
We're
little
part of
bit.
there.
Council Hall's destroyed. We have a training grounds in the backyard.
which is the second time the council hall has been massively damaged.
Not our fault.
And she did
Not
say,
really, no.
he did say from her to not do anything stupid about saving them. This is to everybody.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not,
No, that was to you. That was to the rest of us.
I'm saying this to everyone here.
That had to be for you. It wasn't for me.
I've already made a promise like that. To someone far more important.
Just because I'm
No,
here does
no,
not
no,
mean
no.
y'all can freely throw around the promise of not gonna die.
You just hear from the corner, Nathaniel raises his hand. I make no such promise.
That is part of the problem.
But
I tried not to get my sleep. It didn't work.
Don't you have somewhere to dimension door?
Part of inspiration putting it, bravo. So, with that, as we're within the last 5 minutes, as a new day has started, and essentially you have several pathways to lead through. Anything you want to do before we wrap up here for the evening?
If I didn't tell them the night before, I will let everyone know about Acorn Alderbark.
Acorn?
I thought they were sending a regiment or elves here, not him.
The message was, can send backup immediately if needed. Alderbark.
Oh, I thought.
No, we will
I
send some
interpreted
people
it-
eventually, but
So
immediate
we have-
reaction is Aldebar.
in Alderbar.
I interpreted it as he was the one sending people somehow.
No, he's your backup.
Yeah. We have Alderbar.
So, how do we plan to take back this credit?
That will be up to.
Oh no, this is to her.
She is currently in a meeting, though. That will be because she was going to. You will receive word that she wants to speak to all of you.
Gotcha.
Because they're currently planning several things. One being the incursion into Orgrank City and how to. Because that's the thing. They do have a count. The entire scale-blooded clan is holding that city. That is nearly 200 orcs strong. That is an army. And these are the most aggressive, and they love to torture and hunt Dragonborn. So you know right now, life in that city is utter hell.
Okay, knowing that group, is there a chance for, I guess what you'd call called out champion combat?
If a warrior that they recognize on par with their leader were to call them out, they would be honor bound to fight.
League fights?
We have ways of making.
I'll even tell you what. I will end with this because they have some information. They have the name of the clan war chief, or at least what he goes by. Hornbreaker.
I'm gonna fight.
There we go. With that, we will end for the evening.
Alright, so do you remember how we figured out how to break that thing? We're gonna flip it on you, okay?
Ricardo smash! Ricardo smash! So with that, we'll end for the evening.
Hornbreaker, Take down this wall.
Again, folks, I apologize for the issues with Twitch and with YouTube. Now that I know what caused them, that should not be a problem anymore. Hopefully next week I can get the issue with the audio figured out, where like you can hear me a little better. But until then, thank you all so very, very much for joining us on YouTube and Twitch. Hope you have enjoyed it. I apologize to Chaos Media if the audio is going to be a little bit wonky. You have to do some editing. I'm very sorry about that. But we learn it. We're learning as we go with this kind of stuff. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys again next week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But if you want to do something before that, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can go watch Stagande, Stars of Midgard. Here on Twitch, it is DM'd by the amazing Elder Fenris. So yeah, go check them out. They have a Discord. And also, yeah, I've got a Discord, I've got YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. This Thursday we'll be hopefully completing up the large Tyrannosaurus miniature painting. So yeah, look forward to that. All my stuff's in my link tree. Please go check it out. A lot of stuff coming, a lot of great things I have planned. So yeah, to all those watching on Twitch and YouTube, thank you guys so very, very much and have a good evening.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.